Hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about a kind of new favorite for me, which I've seen has some mixed reviews, but I'm just going to tell you this is one of my current new favorites. And it is a shoujo fantasy series, Prince Freya. And I currently have the first 4 volumes. I was trying to think, I might have others on order, but as with what a common phrase I keep saying, the order appears to be delayed, so I don't know when I'm going to get them, but I'm very excited to continue on with this. So just a quick read of the synopsis. Freya thinks of herself as a simple village girl, but her idyllic life is shattered when she is caught up in a treacherous Sigurdian plot. Sigurdian? I don't know. Plot. She bears a striking resemblance to her country's Prince Edward, who lies dying from poison. Without its prince, Tyr will quickly be engulfed by violence. Now Freya must take Prince Edward's place and lead his valiant knights in defending the realm. So yeah, again, shoujo fantasy, big series. When this starts, Freya is living with her sickly mom, and I'm like, I can't remember if it was her mom or her adoptive mom, but regardless, she's living with her mom, and she has 2 adoptive brothers that are seen on the back here that are often out. I think they're both soldiers. The older brother here is higher up. He's higher ranks. Freya has a very close relationship to the brothers, as in the brothers really have feelings for Freya, but not much is being expressed about those feelings. Like, they're kind of hidden, well, also known, if that makes sense. So yeah, even though they're like brothers to her, they're not her actual brothers, and there is like feelings involved, but they've been helping to take care of Freya. And that's why I couldn't remember if the mother was actually their mother and they took Freya in. That's kind of, is that? Yeah, it's either that they took her in or the mother fled and she took the poison, but regardless, they've been living together, so they're like soldiers off, and they're making sure that they get the money to care for one another, and especially with the mother being sickly, making sure that she has enough to get medications and whatever. Events start like just spinning out of control very quickly in this book. There are a lot of dark events that happen, so this is not just a light and fluffy series. It gets very violent, very bloody, but not to the realm of berserk. We're not talking about that, but I think for a lot of shoujo readers, this has a little bit more violence than they might be used to. I mean, you know, thinking some of them, okay, you take one like Snow White with the red hair, that is a lot of fluff. It's more fluff. It's more like just following Shirayuki as she becomes her doctor self. Her she have a different term. It's just a different term, right? But whatever. So that's more following that line. You look at Yona of the Dawn. There's definitely like bits of violence. So I'd place it closer to Yona of the Dawn with perhaps a bit more violence. And that's how the beginning of Prince Freya is. Again, at this point, I only have 4 volumes. I have read all of them, so I don't know how that pace keeps up. But at least at this point, there's been a lot of darkness, and it's sort of through those violent acts that Freya gets drawn into the whole Prince Edward is ill, and Freya looks very much like Prince Edward. She actually meets him, and he actually asks her to become him because the country needs a prince. It needs a leader in order to face the upcoming battles and be able to hold off the Sigurdian Empire. And somehow, for whatever reason, I don't know if she could truly deny it, but she does end up agreeing and taking on this mantle of becoming Edward. And it's sort of just following that whole process of how is she going to do this, and does she really have the ability to, you know, command this army and be this big leader and representative. And especially since right as this is happening, because Edward was like intentionally poisoned, they're like immediately being besieged and trying to be taken over, like right away, like all this stuff starts happening. And so it's very overwhelming for Freya. And yes, as I'm saying this, there are bits also that kind of go into the other volumes, but no major spoilers. This is the main setup, is that there is all of this happening and she has to deal with it. We do also meet, I don't remember if he's a general or what, but one of the other soldiers who is more like under the direct command of the prince. And so he is dealing more like directly with Freya and needs to make sure that she is being seen as the prince and as the ruler, as this big leader. I mean, look, there's blood on this cover. That just shows you how dark it is. So there you go. But this is our nice gentleman that is more like directly with Freya and will be like helping to protect her and keep her seen as Prince Edvard. I don't know, like I said, for me, like I just like this. This is fantasy. It's shoujo. So yes, it's fantasy, but then you also get like a lot of relationship issues and light romance like weaved in through it. And I like that. That's kind of my genre. Yeah, I had a good time with it. So what I'm really interested in going forward is finding out some of these truths, because you do kind of find out like how Freya just appeared in this village. And like I said, I can't remember if she came with her mother or if she was adopted in, but you know that she suddenly arrived in the village that she ended up growing up with the boys. So I want to know, like, okay, where did she come from? And obviously, why does she look so much like the prince? I'm believing there's going to be a hidden relationship there, that maybe they hid Freya away to keep her safe, which would also then legitimize any claim. But I don't know, because, you know, if that isn't the case, then how long can Freya really pretend to be Prince Edvard until people like realize this is a woman? I mean, at this point she's still fairly young and slim, and Edvard was, but you would assume that at some point Edvard would start to take on more masculine attributes and have a family or something, because as royalty, like, you have to adhere to certain things. So I don't know, I'm assuming at some point these things have to be addressed, and since it's kind of hinted at and sprinkled at throughout the narrative, I'm assuming it's going to be addressed, and we'll find out like why they look so much alike, and how did Freya end up in this village and all that. And I'm going on with the story to figure that out. Obviously, there's a lot of romantic tension happening and possibilities for her. So it is kind of, who is she going to end up with? And I think that manga has a great way where a lot of times with their love triangles, or sometimes more than triangles, with really keeping you on edge, like sometimes it's very clear. Like even if they try to introduce a love triangle, you're like, this is not a triangle. The main couple is established. They're going to get together. It doesn't matter. I think in this case, you are kind of more, I'm not sure who Freya is going to choose. You can root for a certain person, but I'm not sure. There's some good possibilities there, some good choices for her, so I'm not sure it'd be bad. I guess maybe part 2 it'll depend on who lives and who does not live, because like I said, this seems to be a very openly bloody shoujo fantasy, so anybody could go at any time. Yeah, and I'm prepared for that. I'm so prepared. It's not like Game of Thrones level, but it is a level where I don't know what could potentially happen, but I'm aware that it could happen, and I am up for it. Like, I will follow along. I won't let it crush my spirit. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you also like shoujo or fantasy, or both, like I do, I would pick up Prince Freya and give it a try. Like, even if you just grab the first couple volumes. When I picked up the first couple volumes, all that was available was 4. But if the time that you see this and you're like, oh, I want to, try Prince Freya, maybe just pick up the first 4 if there are the more released at that time. Give it a read, see if you really like it, and then grab the rest. I really liked it. I had a feeling I was going to like this series, which is why I grabbed it, because this is within my wheelhouse. This is what I like. I like fantasy stories. I like adventure. I like romance. I like well-drawn characters. The artwork in this is gorgeous. The cover artwork is especially gorgeous. So yeah, this was like a no-brainer for me to pick up, and thankfully it was really good, and I'm very excited to continue the series. I can't wait for that order to get in so they can continue the series, and I would highly recommend it if you are into fantasy, and especially shoujo fantasy. But even if you just like fantasy, maybe pick it up, give it a try, see if it's something you like. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.